In this video, we're going to discuss and work through some examples of how you write the rule for the nth term of a geometric sequence, which is surprisingly similar to the nth term rule for an arithmetic sequence. So let's talk about what this rule entails. We say the nth term. So we denote this with an. We say the nth term of any sequence that is geometric is given by this. We say a1, which is our first term. So what this means is this: on our grocery list of needs, the things we're going to need to write the rule of one of these, we're going to need the first term a1. We just sort of need this, so we say first term. And the other thing we're going to see here is this: we have r, which r is our common ratio. Okay, common ratio. It's a reminder, with not common ration, we say common ratio. But the common ratio here would be the nth term divided by the term right before it, an minus 1, okay, and that's always a common ratio. And so we need r, which is our common ratio. I'm going to truncate those. So we say, and that's to the power of n minus 1, okay. So what I'm going to do really quickly is actually this. I'm going to write the rule for the nth term of an arithmetic thing, and we're going to compare and contrast, but an arithmetic thing, remember, is a1, or our first term, plus the common difference times n minus 1. So in terms of comparing and contrasting these two rules, let's take a look at this here. We say anything that's arithmetic, or geometric has some first term, and in the arithmetic sense, we had some common difference that it was changing by every time, it was adding or subtracting by every time. In the case of the common, ratio, common ratio, we're talking about a geometric thing, we are multiplying by the same number every time. So whereas arithmetic things, they add the same number every time, geometric things multiply by the same number every time. And we can see that they both have an n minus 1, it's just the nature of their relationship is different. This d is being multiplied by n minus 1, whereas this r is being taken to the power of n minus 1. So we're going to use this same kind of format in order to write the rules for geometric things. And actually, you could see how, given certain information, the first term and what you're multiplying by every time, you could come up with the rest of the sequence. We just want the rule. So like this first example says, write the first 5 terms of the geometric sequence whose first term is a1 is 3, and we say the common ratio is 2. So first things first, I just want to see that we understand what is kind of being entailed here when we talk about this. We say that the first term is 3. So you can see how this is really kind of essential information, as well as the fact that the common ratio is 2. So if our common ratio is 2, what this means is we are, in a geometric sense, we are multiplying by this common number every time. So if we're doubling every time, we would get 3, 6, and then this would be 12, and this is 24, and we get 48. And so those would be the first 5 terms, all the way up to a5 here from a1. Okay, so anyways, we didn't want to write the rule on this one. I just want to write out some terms and know that I can do this, because now on this next one we say find the rule for the nth term of this geometric sequence. And by the way, I'll give you the first 3 terms, okay? So first things first, we can identify, first of all, that this is a geometric thing by finding a common ratio. So like our common ratio would be what, 15 over 5? So I get 3, or we could say, we could have done 45 divided by 15. We still get 3, but we're multiplying by 3 every time. So when we said essential information here, one thing we need to write this rule is the common ratio. So we have 3. Now the next thing I want to answer is this: do I have the first term? We do have the first term. It's actually 5. So in terms of writing these rules, man, geometric is even easier than writing an arithmetic one. We say the nth term then would just be our first term, which in this case is 5, times the common ratio, which is the base of this exponent, 3, and we just, we write n minus 1. It's a habit that you get into. But note here that this is just our first term, and this is our common ratio, and they're just being multiplied by each other. So yeah, this is the rule for the nth term. And the nice thing is we don't need to simplify this. And now if I wanted to, for instance, go find the fourth term, we say a4. We can say, well, then a4 means I'm going to go plug in a 4 everywhere I see an n. And I get this to the 4 minus 1, which in this case would be 5 times, this would be 3 to the third power. 3 to the third power is 3 times 3 times 3 is 5. You get 5 times 27. And it is 135. So if I were to triple 45, 3 45-degree angles, as a matter of fact, it's a 135-degree angle, so this works here. But yeah, this says use your rule to find A12. So I'll leave that to the viewer. What I want you to go do is now find A12, which should be sufficiently large by that point, but that is how you could use the rule. So now, last but not least, we say, what if I'm given not the first term and or not the common ratio? You're going to find instances like this. This is a good example to watch if you are in instances like this, which is common. So we say the fourth term of a geometric sequence is 125, and the 10th term is 125 64ths. Says, let's do this. Let's go find the 14th term. So now what I can tell you is this: oh, I would love to go find the 14th term, but I would sort of need a rule. I need a rule. So if I had a rule for the nth term, perhaps, of this geometric thing, a1 times r to the n minus 1. If I had this rule, I could go find the 14th term. So now, could I write this rule? Well, I'm going to need to know a1, and I need to know r. I'm going to put these all, kind of proximal to one another here. But the idea is, those are the things I need to know, and am I told either of them? So we were told a4. So I'm going to amend our list here. a4 is 125, and oh my goodness, a10 is 125, 64. So here's the question. Can I find a common ratio? Well, we're called it the common ratio. Common ratio is take a term and divide by the term right before it. These are not consecutive terms. So here's the unfortunate thing. We're not going to be able to divine either of these values, but we can plug in these values that we were given into the given rule here, which is this thing. We can plug them in, and we could go solve, using a system for a1 or r. That's what we're going to do right now. So we say, all right, well, an, that would be like, in this case, a4. So we say a4, I'll write it out this time. We say a4 would be equal to a1 times r to the n minus 1, where in this case our n value is 4, right? That's this thing right here. And I'm going to fill in a4. Actually, we know a4. So next time I plug in something here, I'm just going to fill it in directly. But we say 125 was our an, and that was true when n was equal to 4. And you can see how we just get a 3 here. So I'm going to put a box around this. This is our EQ1. And then our second equation we're going to get by plugging this in. We would say, well, I'm going to plug in directly our an is 125 64ths. It's a fraction, oh well. And we say a1 I don't know, and r I don't know. And I know that this was true only when n was equal to 10. So we say this would be 10 minus 1. So, just simplifying this ever so slightly, we say 125 64ths would be equal to a1 times r to the 9th power. So now, here's the interesting thing about it. We have two equations. We need to go solve this system, and the only thing is we can only use substitution here if we have like a multiplication expression. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to choose the equation that has like, smaller values involved. So that'd be like maybe this one up here, at least in terms of the exponent. I'm going to solve for a1. It'd be really easy to do this by dividing both sides by r cubed. We could do this. We could say divide both sides by r cubed. And that would cancel out, and I would get left with this. I say, well, then a1 would be 125 r cubiths. And what we could do is we could go like, substitute this in over here. And we'd have an expression that's 125 64ths is equal to this a1 we're going to substitute 4 times r to the 9th. And the thing we want to do is we want to notice a few things here. First of all, this r cubed is going to cross cancel this r to the 9th. This is going to become r to the 6th. So now we've got this situation where 125 64ths is now equal to just 125 r to the 6th. And now, here's the thing. We need to divide both sides by 125. Now, I think with working with fractions, it's a lot easier to just multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal here. I'm going to take this times 101 125th. And the nice thing here is that the 125s cancel out. We're left with just, 1/64. So we have 1/64 is equal to r to the 6th power. And this is the maybe uncomfortable thing if you haven't done it in a while. We're going to take the 6th root of both sides. And we say, well, then r would have to be equal to, technically plus or minus. We're going to go with plus. What I could take times itself 6 times to get, let's just say 64. I think that would be 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64. So we say this is going to be not, 2, but 1/2. So now I have r. The idea is when you're solving a system, go plug this back into the original equation, which, by the way, was 125 a1 r to the 3rd power. If we go plug this back in now, we're going to go solve for a1, where we already know r is 1/2. Oops, 1/2. I'm thinking ahead here, and this is to the 3rd power. That's that 3rd power right there. And so we say when you take this to the 3rd power, we get 125 equals a1 times an 8th. And multiplying both sides by the reciprocal of this, take it times 8. Take it times 8. You would get this for a1 at least. You would get like 800 plus another, 200 would be 1,000. Oh my goodness. So we're starting a1 as 1,000. So the idea here is we went through all this work to find the rule. And I'm actually going to switch out colors really quickly here because I don't want to take up too much of your time. We say an, our rule for this, so we can go find the 14th term. Our first term we just discovered is 1,000. And we say then our common ratio here, our common ratio is 1/2. So it's getting cut in half every time. And this is to the n minus 1 power. That's what this says right there. And that's covering it up. There we go. But this is our rule. So we're going to use this to go find a14. We say, well, this wouldn't be very big at that point, but we'd say it'd be 1,000 times 1/2 to the 14 minus 1 power. So with our calculators, we're going to have to do a little bit of order of operations here. But what I would say is I'm going to have to use this calculator I've got right here. We say 14 minus 1 is 13 and 1/2 to the 13th power. So the first thing we want to do is we want 1 divided by 2. Our common ratio is 1/2. we're going to raise this now to the 13th power. Very small number. We're going to take this times 1,000, which is really going to bump our decimal thrice. And we say you get 0.122-ish, okay? So now, if we were to do this in terms of like an exact value, we could have done it with fractions, but we say A14. It is sufficient to say approximately 0.122-ish, okay?